Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The trial of a serving Nigerian Senator Dino Melaye began at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday. Melaye is facing trial on 2 counts of giving false information. The charges were filed against him by the Nigerian government. The senator has repeatedly denied the charges and pleaded not guilty in court on Thursday. His lawyer, Ricky Tafa, then asked the judge for bail, but was opposed by the prosecuting counsel, Shuaibu Labaron. The judge, however, dismissed the argument of the prosecuting counsel. He granted Melaye bail in the sum of 100,000 naira with one surety.
As prosecutors, we look at the merits of the case, and we've crossed all the T's and dotted the I's, and we've come up with the charge. And it may interest you to note that the court granted the defendant bail, which is normal because we are prosecutors, not persecutors. And of course, we are interested in seeing that we have a sane society. And therefore, we are not looking at the magnitude of the offense. But once there is an offense established, the law is no respecter of your height, your status will bring you to justice. And that is why we are here.
The plea of the defendant was taken. We also moved his application for bail. The bail was granted. You've all had the terms. One surety, civil servant of level 14, bond of 100,000. And been adjourned to 17th of May for trial.
I was already prepared to go to prison. I have my tissue paper. I have my toothpaste. I have my brush. I also bought a bottle of Coke in case there's no Coke there. But justice shall prevail.
Meanwhile, as the court proceeding was ongoing, some youth were protesting in support of the accused. They want all the charges against the senator dismissed.
We are discountenancing whatever the federal government interest is in saying that the federal government will suddenly be interested in a Kogi state government matter. This is a Kogi state government matter. The government of Kogi state has not taken Dino to court. The government of Kogi state has not said anything against Dino. So if the federal government of Nigeria is taking Dino, that has been volatile, that has been speaking, that has been talking on behalf of Nigerians to court in a matter of this infinitesimal matter.
We IDPs, getting to 4 years, we are in this Abuja. There's no anybody that we see fighting for us in this Abuja like a Dino Melaye. So this Senator Dino Melaye is trying for the whole nation. It's not only serving to Kogi state alone. So he's trying to the whole nation. So that's the reason why we came here.
2 Nigerian soldiers have died from injuries sustained during a clearance operation of Boko Haram insurgents in the country's northeast region. A statement from the army said the 2 soldiers sustained injuries when a combat vehicle rammed into an improvised explosive device in the northeast. The 2 soldiers lost their lives despite the best efforts of the medical team. The army also revealed that the troops killed 5 terrorists in another clearance operation in Sambizu Forest, while some Boko Haram camps were destroyed during the operation. Still on the war against terrorism, the United Nations has revealed that more than 10 million people would require aid in Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger as a result of the security challenges in the countries. UN Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Deputy Emergency Relief Coordinator Ursula Mueller, who stated this at the end of her visit to Chad, called for urgent support for the countries, especially Chad. Mueller said the humanitarian emergency across the Lake Chad Basin was among the most severe in the world. She called for urgent funding to support 4.4 million people in Chad, including refugees, returnees, internally displaced persons, as well as the communities hosting them. Meanwhile, the three-day international conference on saving the Lake Chad from extinction has ended in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, with 12-point recommendations tagged the 2018 Abuja Declaration. Key highlight of the recommendation is the planned creation of economic trade zone in Lake Chad axis, which will help revitalize the economic activities of the basin and create new opportunities for millions living on the borders of the member countries. After 3 days of brainstorming, peer group discussion, data analysis, and consideration of research documents, the International Conference on Saving the Lake Chad arrived at 12-point recommendations, part of which include:
Lake Chad Basin member states should establish an economic free zone in the region to serve as a hub for trade, thereby creating jobs and alleviating poverty. Provision should be made for building an institutional and human capacities between the countries for decision-making and negotiation.
5 heads of states and governments of the Lake Chad Basin Commission met earlier to discuss the future of the basin and how the situation can be addressed before it becomes a security and humanitarian crisis to member states.
I am convinced that this conference will not just be another talk shop in court, but will be a platform to relaunch our partnership and commitment to our continent and the basin in particular. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the conference report will be presented shortly, and I urge you to consider it critically with a view to making informed and a strong contribution towards its implementation. Let Abuja be the starting point of this commitment, and we will call this, in quote, the Abuja Declaration.
Gabon will make 2 contributions to this important initiative. The first is the establishment of a monitoring system for Lake Chad and the surrounding landscape, which be operated by Gabonese Space Agency. It is therefore an opportunity for us to transform the issue of Lake Chad from a regional issue to an African concern. This is our commitment as African leader. This is our vision for the Africa we want. This is our legacy for the coming generations.
On behalf of my country, join the heads of state. We all agree that it is now time to save the Lake Chad Basin.
The heads of states and government charged themselves to show political and financial will to end the shrinking of Lake Chad Basin. The Lake Chad Basin Commission also solicited the support of international organizations and donor agencies to help solve the Lake Chad issue. The Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazal, has directed the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, and the Commandant General of NSCDC, Abdullahi Gana Mahamadu, to relocate to the northeast. According to a statement from the Nigerian government, the directive is to ensure all schools in the northeast are properly secured. The 2 security chiefs have also been ordered to work with the governors of the northeast states and theater commander of the northeast operation to ensure the directive is obeyed. The directive comes a week after Boko Haram attacked a Yobe government girls' science school. 110 girls were also kidnapped in that attack. The House of Representatives has passed a vote of no confidence on Nigeria's Mines and Steel Minister, Kayode Fayemi, his state counterpart, Buhari, and the sole administrator of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. The lawmakers passed the vote after the trio failed to show up to a public hearing on the Ajaokuta Steel Company. Their absence irked the lawmakers, who also set up an ad hoc committee to investigate all the surrounding events in the Ajaokuta Steel Company. 1 week after Nigeria fell on the rank of the Corruption Perception Index, the country's lawmakers have passed a law to strengthen anti-corruption war. The Senate on Thursday passed the Federal Audit Service Commission bill to help establish a more independent office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The bill is expected to grant the auditor unlimited access to audit the books of all ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Some of the other functions is to carry out performance audits by ensuring that federal government and its agencies' business is economically, efficiently, and effectively performed. Still on Nigeria's anti-corruption campaign, the Senate is accusing lawmakers in the House of Representatives of delaying the passage of Nigerian Financial Intelligence Agency Bill. The bill seeks to make the country's Financial Intelligence Unit, currently under the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, totally independent. The NFIU, which is domiciled in the EFCC, was in July 2017 suspended by the Egmont Group of Financial Intelligence Unit for allegedly not being independent. Egmont Group is a global financial intelligence gathering body made up of 156 financial intelligence units representing 156 countries. It is a platform for members to share expertise and financial intelligence to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. The group reportedly demanded autonomy for the NFIU as a condition for the suspension to be lifted. Failing, Nigeria would be expelled in 2018. A federal high court in Lagos has dismissed the application of oil giant Chevron, questioning its jurisdiction to hear charges of alleged crude oil theft. The charges relate to non-declaration of some 57 million barrels of crude oil shipped out of the country between 2011 and 2014. The government, in the case filed in October 2016, is demanding a total of $12.7 billion compensation from the oil company. However, Chevron, through its lawyer, had filed a countersuit challenging the jurisdiction of the court to hear the charges. The judge, Mojisola Ishola, however, dismissed the application for lack of merit. She also asked Chevron to pay 100,000 naira as compensation to the Nigerian government and adjourned the trial to May 16 and 17, 2018. The Nigerian government has assured that the new national minimum wage will match the present economic realities. The assurance was given by Boss Mustafa, the secretary to the government of the Federation, at a dinner and award night organized to mark the 40th anniversary of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC). He assured that the federal government is conscious of the need to bring wages to meet economic realities. The new minimum wage structure is expected to kick off in the third quarter of 2018. Jean-Claude Cassibrou has formally taken over as the new president of ECOWAS Commission. Cassibrou, who took over from Marcel de Souza, was officially sworn in a brief ceremony in Abuja on Thursday. De Souza, in his remark, urged the new president to keep the flame burning by adding more building blocks to achieve the dreams of the ECOWAS founding fathers. In the same light, the Nigerian government pledged its full support to the new leadership of the Commission, urging it to remain prudent in its dealing. Cassibrou, in his reply, vowed to spare no effort in achieving the ECOWAS vision and growth of the community.
What's your name?
Onosude Omorifi. May you check your own list, cause the list where they outside. Onosude name never do.
Your name is Onoriode. You even went as a fashion designer.
As you don't come back, so now I won't go as Akpobori Ovi, and Ovi won't go as pilots.
That is impersonation.
My own share for the national cake be that.
Mr. Onosode.
Akpobori.
The Amnesty Program is an intervention project for sustainable economic development of the Niger Delta, which you are a beneficiary of, lying under pretext for your selfish gain and advantage is robbing others of the same opportunity. And that is an act of corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now.
Glad to have you back. The National Bureau of Statistics on Thursday released the Capital Importation Report for the 2017 fiscal year, where the economy attracted a total investment inflow of $12.2 billion. The sum, when compared with the $5.38 billion in 2016 represents an increase of $6.82 billion or 56%. The report put the investment inflow into the country as at the end of the fourth quarter of 2017 at $5.32 billion compared to $4.14 billion in the third quarter of the same year. President Muhammadu Buhari has said the federal government is already targeting an era of self-sufficiency in food production and consumption. The president also reiterated the commitment of his administration to cutting down imports of agricultural products that depleted the country's foreign reserves in the past. The president said this when he received letter of credence from the High Commissioner of Republic of Singapore to Nigeria, Lim Sin Seng, at the State House. The president added that the era of high import bills on food was fast becoming a thing of the past, with growing investments in the agricultural sector, favorable weather, and collective will of Nigerians to start feeding themselves and exporting products. The Nigerian economy has continued to record positive growth. A report by the country's Bureau of Statistics last Tuesday showed the economy grew by 1.92% in the fourth quarter of 2017. This figure is 0.52% higher than the growth recorded in the third quarter of 2017. This year, the year 2017 recorded a real annual growth rate of 0.83% higher by 2.42% than the 1.58% recorded in 2016. Some financial analysts spoke with TV360 on this new report.
You can see that the growth is very marginal. And all this points to the fact that there are still quite a lot of challenges in the economy. It also points to the fact that the non-oil sector of the economy is still not doing as well as it should. Because the big component or the main component of this growth is actually from the oil sector. And this is driven mainly by the fact that oil price has rebounded significantly, and oil output has also been stable and also fairly robust. The non-oil sector is still grappling with quite a number of challenges. That is why the growth in the non-oil sector is still far below 1%. So there are still a lot of issues with our manufacturing sector, with our agricultural sector, with our services sector, with our, quite a number of sectors.
2018, we forecast GDP to further improve about between 2.3% and 2.5%, largely hinged on improvements in both the oil sector and non-oil sector GDP. For oil sector, we expect sustained improvements in oil production volumes to remain a positive for the economy. And for the non-oil sector space, we expect sustained growth in agriculture, in the agricultural sector. We anticipate improved activity in manufacturing sector as well, in line with the improvements that we've seen in FX liquidity in the market. And we believe these factors will contribute to the sustained growth in the broader economy.
The UN says 4 peacekeepers were killed by a roadside bomb in central Mali on Wednesday. The incident occurred in the central Mopti region, where attacks by Islamist militants have surged in recent months, although UN officials did not say who was responsible for the blast. 6 Malian soldiers were killed nearby a day earlier when their vehicle struck a landmine. A Kenyan human rights group has accused police in the coastal region, including the city of Mombasa, of carrying out an increasing number of extrajudicial killings. A spokeswoman for Haki Africa, Salma Hamid, said there had been 3 such deaths so far this week. She said the actions of the police were driving young people to become radicalized or join gangs. The Kenyan authorities have rejected similar accusations in the past. Andy Murray could be back on the practice court at the end of this month as he targets a return in time for the grass court season. The 30-year-old has not played a competitive match since sustaining a hip injury in Wimbledon quarterfinals last July. The 3-time Grand Slam champion underwent surgery in January, but his rehab is apparently going well as he targets a return before Wimbledon starts in July 2nd. Well, that's it on News Now. Thanks for watching.